The last couple of days have probably been the best thing to happen to regular players in Escape from Tarkov in a very long time. Now, you might think that statement is bombastic or over the top. And honestly, it kind of is, but this is YouTube. I got to get you hooked to watch the rest of the video, right? But nonetheless, I do really believe it. I'm not just saying that because it's the intro to the video. But before I pontificate too much and get into the why I think that, let's get over the facts. Let's get you up to date and let you know what they've changed, at least as what I can see. So first up, M61, which is 762 by 51, 762 by 39 BP, PS12B, which is the H12 ammo, 9 by 21 BT, were all removed from traders. You can no longer buy these. On top of that, 855A1 was removed from Skier, though it is still on Peacekeeper. It's just expensive and you can't buy as much of it. Now on top of this, PS12B, 9 by 21 BT, and M80 were all removed from the flea market, so you can no longer buy them there from players. On this trend, we had M80, M62, and 45 AP all moved to Peacekeeper 4, and the Voodoo, Razor, and the 1-8 Schmidt and Bender were all removed from traders. You can still buy them on the flea, but they are no longer purchasable on the traders. And the TAC 30 is a barter only now. You can't buy it, but there is still a barter for the TAC 30. With all of this in mind, though, we also have a bunch of crafts added, and this is a key part of this picture. It's really important to what they're doing. There were quite a few changes to craft time, some reduced, some increased. Flechettes had some increase and reduced to how much you can make and made them more expensive, which I'm all for that. But they also added SS190, 9 by 21 BT, M80, 300 Blackout AP, and then APSX. M80 is an important craft because it is at your workbench level 2, which means as early as level 20, you can start crafting M80, which is a great source for you to get this round. So even though they moved M80's purchase to Peacekeeper low to level 4, lower level players still have limited access to it for sniping and top loading mags and things like that. Now, in addition to this, there's a ton of changes on Ragman. Some I can't even see yet because I don't have Ragman to loyalty level 4 or a bunch of quests done. So I'm kind of going based on what I hear from other people. But it looks like they moved a bunch of items around. They removed some things. There's some barters, new barters, fewer barters. Things like the gazelles aren't viable anymore. You can only barter for them. I heard that U-locks aren't unlimited. You know, you only have there's a limit to how many you can buy each reset. And a few changes on loyalty level 4 Ragman to like the Rice Tea and Alton helmets and stuff. So we'll have to see what that is once I get there. Now, these changes are all centered around the hard balance BSG is trying to achieve. This is what I think is going on. They're trying to extend the early and mid gameplay of the wipe, make it last longer, because that is probably one of the most enjoyable parts of the wipe for people. But they're trying to do this without affecting your regular or your casuals, but still contain, you know, streamers, speedrunners, things like that, which you can never really do, but you can limit their impact on the rest of the game. And with this, the single biggest thing that moves that gameplay arc from early to mid to late is ammo, second being armor. And I think these recent changes are some of the few that BSG has ever done that are actually going to be able to achieve that. But we'll have to wait and see. So let's take a look at where we were, at least where I believe we were prior to this wipe, and how the gameplay went about. Now, if you want to be competitive in what I call Tarkov boxing, which is essentially, you know, you're fighting in dorms, you're fighting in resort, labs, wherever, you're up close and personal, and the combat is completely driven by time to kill. Who can kill the fastest? And that means you have to have the fastest shooting gun with the lowest recoil, so the most shots hit with the best ammo. And that boiled everything down into RD704s, mutants running BP. Now, M61 had a place in there, and sometimes the MP7, as well as the M4, having a place. But most players don't push for this combat. There is a group that does. They like that combat. But for the most part, a lot of players, they only get in that combat by accident. They're not looking for it, or if they're pushing somebody that they've already damaged. It's not like their preferred mode of combat. So this led to this meta where pretty much you saw mid-wipe and on, tons of BP, like that's what you died to the most, was 762 by 39 BP, and it was usually shot out of a mutant or an RD704. And this is because ammo was so readily available. The mutant and RD704 are kind of expensive, but when you can throw the best ammo in the game in unlimited quantities, it doesn't matter. And for example, the AKM is only slightly worse by the numbers than the RD and the mutant. It's a little bit slower firing, it's a little heavier, and it doesn't have as good a recoil, but just by a little bit. But you never saw it, because why would you run that when you could run the RD? And all of this led to armor not necessarily being worthless, but it wasn't important enough that players really cared about it. You know, you'd see a lot of times guys just running class 4 because all you're trying to do is stop lower level players and scavs from one hitting you, because most of the other players are running ammo that's going to blow through class 4 and even class 5 pretty quickly anyways as it is. So now, instead of folks just buying at every reset and having unlimited amounts of BP and M61 and all this other ammo, they're actually going to have to conserve ammo and be more careful about what they use. You're still going to die to BP, you're still going to see M61, you're still going to see these ammos, but it's not going to be as prevalent as it was before. At least I don't think so. I think you're also going to see guns like the P90s, MP5s, the SR2, maybe even the MP9. You'll see these used more common in close fights, because instead of them being completely overwashed by RDs, now they actually have a chance to stand up in some of these fights versus some of the assault rifles. And then you'll see the assault rifles push more to a mid-range combat, and 5.45 and 5.56 might have this kind of new comeback where you can use them in mid-range fights and still take on players versus, again, just dying to RDs with BP. You're also going to see a big change in long-range shooting, because instead of just running an SR25 or an RSAS with unlimited M80 and M61 and M62 and cutting players, just ripping rounds until the player falls over, you're actually going to have to place your shots. You're going to have to be more careful. That ammo is going to be scarce. You can't just throw lead like you used to be able to. So personally, I'm excited to see where this goes. Is it perfect? Probably not, but I don't expect them to get it perfect on the first try. Hopefully they keep fine-tuning, we get adjustments, we get more balancing to see where this goes, but I'm really excited for this wipe. I think this is going to be one incredible experience for everybody, and I'm really looking forward to it personally. So we'll wrap it up there. Appreciate you guys watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you want more of this kind of content. Wish you the best of luck in your raids, and we'll see you in Tarkov.